My name is John Mizell, and I'm currently a science teacher at Nesbitt Discovery Academy. So my teaching philosophy is governed by three main principles, and that is ABC CBV, teaching science through a 5E model, and always having a reflective growth mindset. So ABC CBV stands for activity before concept and concept before vocabulary. And this is a general teaching principle that I follow by, and this can be for any subject matter. Starting out with an activity gives students an experience that they can relate to and they can connect with. And you do this before you explain a concept. Because when you explain the concept, they're now going to have an experience that they can relate to, and they'll remember it much more because of that. So concept before vocabulary, you shouldn't expect students to know vocabulary right off the bat. If you're giving them an activity first and then explaining the concept, they're going to remember the vocabulary much more. And you should be using the vocabulary through the activity when you explain the concept or when the concept's explained to them, so they have that practice with it, and then not requiring them to know it until the very end. Now in science, I use a 5E model of teaching. And the 5 E's are engage or elicit, explore, explain, extend, and evaluate, and in that order. Starting out with engage or elicit, and it's really elicit here. I'm trying to elicit prior knowledge. What I do is I give students a scenario, and then I ask them to explain that scenario and use reasoning and examples to support their reasoning. And then we have a discussion about their thought process. And that discussion, I am completely hands-off at this point. I'm just facilitating a conversation, what students agree with, what they disagree with, and why. And then just kind of taking in what their prior knowledge is. We're going to go sticks, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I agree with D because at the beginning he walks really slow and then he gradually gets faster and then stays at the same rate once he gets faster.
I also agree with you because it shows that he starts out walking faster and then stays at a constant speed.
I disagree with C because it says that he's going super fast in the beginning and then he uses it across the area.
I disagree with B because he starts out slowly and then he speeds up, but he keeps getting faster and faster instead of
I disagree with B for the same reason as E, because it shows that he's continuing to get faster, and that's not what the captions.
And then from there, we move on to a hands-on explore, where they are looking at that scenario, collecting data on that scenario, experimenting with that scenario, and then trying to use that data to support or refute a conclusion.
40, 70.
1.34.
I think I started at
1.2.
See, that was in the straight line.
27.5.
It's such different.
I went from 1.2 to 17.3.
Your trials for 1 week, but it's not.
We did.
It is, okay,
Just
so
the strength. So we just
down.
Yeah, but I
the
thought
initial
like
length
this
of
was
string
each
and
a
then
trial.
It is a trial.
Like
we only
for
had
1
two.
week, like you graph trial 1, and so the range version makes sense.
From there, we move on to explain, and I do this through short concept readings using CK12, where students pair up and then they will go through a concept reading together. One reads out loud, the other one follows along, and then they have a discussion at the end about the meaning of the subject they've been reading and relating it to the things that we've done in class.
And then how does velocity differ from speed? Why is velocity a vector? Okay, so
because it includes direction, yeah.
Also during the Explain, students will be doing simulators, and these simulators can be walking them through a process. Use FET simulators and also Explore Learning simulators.
Wait, but it says the man starts 3 meters from the house and accelerates towards the tree.
Then for Extend, I use a resource from the University of Buffalo. It's their national case study database, and they have a tremendous amount of case studies. And these are real world examples that have real data, and students are relating the topics that they have learned to these cases, and it kind of ties everything together. Finally is Evaluate, and this is where we're evaluating the students' progress, and we're looking to see how much they have grown since the initial start of this 5U process. And we're looking at different things. So it could be through a quiz, it could be through a summative assessment, it could be through some piece of work that they put together and show and demonstrate that they have mastered the concept and the subject. Finally, the last thing, the reflective growth mindset, and that's more for me as a teacher. I'm always trying to reflect on things that I've done in my classroom. What has worked, what hasn't, what did the students enjoy, what did they not enjoy. I always like to put myself in their seat and think, if I was sitting here in their seat, would I be enjoying class? Would I be learning? And that's a question that I always ask myself. And if the answer is no, or no, I would not be enjoying it, I try something new. And quite often I do. I try new things all the time. And then I look at those as well. Did this work? Was this better than what we had before? And just keeping that reflective growth mindset always helps me to continue to grow. And I also encourage this with my students. I encourage them to reflect on their own growth. What were your failures? Why did you fail? If you had to do it again, how could you make the next one even that much better? And this is just a good thing for personal growth. Teaching science is my passion. It's something I really enjoy doing, something I think I'm pretty good at, and it's one way that I can impact society. I can, help future generations be better critical thinkers, do cool stuff, and really be game changers, where they're either inventing something new, discovering something new, and following what they really love to do as well, finding their passion and then following it.